I'm so glad you all chose Holly. So yeah, you are all in right hands. So I'm happy to meet everyone.
Alekhya, I chose you because I love your story.
I've failed in a ton of interviews, and then for about 6 months, I followed Holly's YouTube videos. It's about having more opportunities. The moment I fixed my LinkedIn, um, it's more like me chasing opportunities. It's all a 180-degree shift now. Like people are chasing me, they are asking me now, are you interested with this role?
I'm really excited. I wanted to introduce Alekhya to you. And give me a moment, guys. Let me pull her from backstage. Hang on one second. Three, two, one. There you go, Alekhya.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you all chose Holly. So yeah, you are all in right hands. So I'm happy to meet everyone here.
They are forced. They're buying me coffee as we speak. I'm just kidding. Alekhya, thank you so much for making the time. Alekhya, I chose you because I love your story. As a business owner and a career coach, and I think I can speak for any career coaches, not just myself, not everyone is an ideal clientele. Not everyone works hard. In fact, I talk so much about the statistic year over year. It's called the workplace statistic that 90% of the people in the world, not just US, don't work hard to get to the end result, which is they're feeling stuck. They're feeling miserable. Worse, they're affected by the pandemic. They think the world is over, but they're not willing to work hard. But you show up to our mock interviewed office hour weekly, and you have let's just call him baby. You have a baby behind you pulling your hair, pulling your laptop. But tell us a little bit about yourself if you can. Where's all this motivation coming from? If you can give us a brief introduction about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Alekhya. I'm currently working with a startup in Oakland, California. And yeah, this was my first job in the United States. I previously worked in India. With the experience that I have gathered, I understood that I could be in a better place. And there were a lot of fantastic opportunities, but I wasn't able to get through any of them. There were multiple interviews that I have failed. And the reason that I found out, I mean, I evaluated myself and I found out that was because I wasn't able to articulate my own stories properly with the experience that I have gained. I've failed in a ton of interviews, and then for about 6 months, I followed Holly's YouTube videos, and without, I mean, I gathered the notes, the amount of preparation that is needed, and I went ahead with my first opportunity with Amazon, and I have failed terribly there. Again, it was all because I wasn't ready. There were a lot of things that you have to be prepared for. So the second attempt was through my own networking. I went into Amazon, I've networked on LinkedIn, I reached out to the right candidates and I asked them, can you give me a chance? I work for so and so product, and would you be able to help me? And I am interested in this role that I am interviewing for. And trust me, guys, Amazon really appreciates talent. And if you yourself market yourself, I mean, if you yourself reach out to them, and they are going to really appreciate for it. So I went up to the managers. They did put me through an interview, and this was my chance where I didn't want to blow it up. So I gave in my best efforts here, even though I had a baby, even though I was already working. None of these looked like an excuse, because an excuse is something that maybe it's only one time that you might have to face this, but this is something I have to deal with every day. So within the amount of time, I wanted to fit in and I wanted to prepare as much as I can. And the most effective method that seemed to me was through Holly's method. So I'm going to pause there, in case, Holly, if you have any questions, or any, if you want me to continue from there, I can, we can deep dive more into the conversation.
Alicia, one of the things that made you really stood out to me is you and I know we talked about this where I worked so hard for the entire year of 2021. It took like the year's almost over to find you. I'm looking
True.
for a specific skill set where for me there's just no BS. I'm very transparent. Even in my YouTube channel, ironically, I was reading through a lot of my comment on YouTube, and I would say every 1 out of 100, the number is fairly low, complain that Holly, I don't understand why are you live streaming? your video is too long. It's over an hour. I'm not going to watch it. Well, that's why there's timestamp that I also went in and spent an extra 2 hour in addition to the two
Mm,
hour three. By the way, everyone who is leaving a comment right now, a pay YouTube community member, and that's $3.99, not breaking a bank, right? But they don't realize that when people are complaining and the resources are practically free, it helps me keep focus in my live stream so the spammers will be off. If you are
mm,
going to spam, at least become a member and pay for it. That's the way I see it. But that's what I mean by excuses. And Alekhya, I don't mean to say this in the wrong way. Let me just apologize upfront here. In the event of Women in Tech series in AWS, where I will also be a speaker along with 15 amazing, amazing head of AWS solution architect around the world, it's so ironic that we are collaborating today, Alicia. This is not part of the plan at all. But for the sake of women in tech, just call it women in tech. You don't have to be a tech person.
yeah.
You could be in finance, you could be a program manager, so on and so forth. But the reason why my heart is in the diversity, women specifically space, is because I understand everything that you guys are going through. Just because I came from Amazon, Google, Facebook, all these FAANG company, it took me 10 years to land my first job with those companies. And even so, I wish at the time I would have someone who cares so much about my career path to help me. But I think time has changed now, right? There's like, I think, and we talk about this in the VIP coaching cohort where there's over 5 million job posting right now. And there's like 3.2 or something million people who up and leave the corporate job, even within those FANG company, because they're miserable. So why are you giving yourself excuses and not kick off? I'm not saying come work with me, but everything that you want, you can get it for free on
Mm,
YouTube. I'm sure I'm not the only creator. There's some fantastic creators out there as well, fantastic articles that write about Amazon if you're into that. But for me personally, I don't just train you on Amazon. I train you in how you deliver in your communication so you can sound sharp.
mm,
Because if you're not sharp, no one is going to hire you and you will spend more time than needed to give an answer back unless you're able to keep them entertained. Okay. So, Alicia, back to you with the topic of no BS and no excuses. What is your, if you have to tell us right now, has there been a moment, because you were only with me for what, 1 month?
yeah.
It was just
4 weeks.
one
Yeah.
month. Has there been a moment where you say, you know what, this is too much? Forget it. Forget it. I have to what? Create my own story. I'm sorry. You want me to fix my entire resume again? I'm sorry. My kid is pulling me. I probably have to make him dinner, feed him milk, whatever you have to do as a mom. I'm a parent myself. I know. Is there a moment that you wanted to give up? And what do you tell yourself?
Yeah, so when I entered into the VIP program, it was a bit unclear as to what am I signing up for. I know, I've been following you on YouTube live streams before, but it isn't like in the VIP program. So there is a particular structure that we have to follow, and again, it's like I'm going to maybe go with some baby terms. Let's say if
Yes.
you are
Talk
in
baby
Montessori.
language to us.
So if you're in a Montessori, there might be like 16 to 20 kids, right? So you cannot focus on one particular student. So you try to create general principles around so that all kids follow. It's the same thing in the VIP cohort as well. So there is a definite layer structured out in the VIP cohort, where you have to fix your resume first, then you have to fix your LinkedIn branding, and then you have to move on to building your stories so that you can better perform in the interviews. The When I went in, the first 2 days, I really didn't understand why I have to redo all of these, especially when I have opportunities in my hand and when I have interviews coming up as well. But I did ask Holly, that was like, why do I have to do this? The answer that she gave me, and it is pretty convincing for me as well. The answer that she gave me was, if you do not fix your resume, you won't get your story points from there, which is true. Because any interviewer who's coming in to, like, know about you are going to look at the face of your resume. And the stories that you're going to tell in your story, I mean, in your interviews, have to reflect somewhere in the resume. And that's why you have to fix it. Now, point two is on the LinkedIn branding. So with the resumes that you have, with the overview of experience that you bring in for that interview, it's not just about cracking the one opportunity that have, but it's about having more opportunities. It's like the moment I fix my LinkedIn, it's more like me chasing opportunities. It's all a 180-degree shift now. Like people are chasing me, they are asking me now, are you interested with this role? So that's how branding is going to help you. So it's not about getting one, or I mean going around, you might have a target company, but it's not about just work I mean just about aiming for that. It's about you positioning yourself so that you're a hotcake. And then the third one is from the branding that you bring in, and then from the resume that you have created, is going to place a fundamental foundation for you so that you can create your stories, and that is what you're going to speak up in the interview. And the VIP cohort is going to fine tune you in a way that you stick to your stories in star format, not more than a minute. You make sure you deliver the of content within that 1 minute, and that's when you have to keep the interviewer entertained so that they start to probe questions. And that's when you and while articulating your stories, that's how you prepare for the follow-up questions as well. And that was the most effective method that I could ask for. Maybe 1 or 1.5 hour a day was the max I spent. And yeah, like I know I'm for sure bringing in my I mean revamping your resume is a pain for a lot of us, just like me, but that helped a lot in this entire structure. And I've did all of this in 4 weeks, guys. So yeah, you
That's
might
because
understand.
you're an overachiever, Alicia.